We are streaming as it says. We are showing Slay the Princess. Everything is happy. Everything is grand. And I'm just making sure that in case someone wants to show up for chat, I am in the chat. But yeah, so we're doing Marvel Midnight Suns eventually, in a second. As it is known. But figured that we need some navel gazing. So the best way to do that is to try out this navel gazing game of Slay the Princess as we just vibe out to some soft piano music. And
Suns look action-packed by comparison.
This, I will say that Marvel Midnight Suns is more action-packed and has more explosions than this game. But, yeah.
The people.
We'll just set you in blind aside from just, obviously, this is a horror-adjacent game. And we will slay the princess. So, it's a, whatchamahoosit type game where you make decisions.
You're on a path in the woods. And at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess. You're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world.
So what's your thought? I can look for it. What was that?
As I said, there's so many options. There's a lot of these.
Oh, there's a ton of options. So what are you thinking in your head?
Creation of that.
No, like what would be your response to the narrator? Or would you just silently move towards the cabin?
I assume turn around and leave just turned off the game. It's where I'm headed towards, and I kind of want to see if the game like nudges you. But I know it would just turn it
You
off.
make your way up the short path to the cabin. You'll find the princess within. A warning before you go any
Killing
further.
a princess.
She will lie, she will cheat, and she will do everything in her power to stop you from slaying her. Don't believe a word she says. We're not going to go through with this, right? She's a princess. We're supposed to save princesses, not slay them. Ignore him. He doesn't know what he's talking about. The interior of the cabin is almost entirely bare. The air is stale and musty, and the floor and walls are painted in a fine layer of dust. The only furniture of note is a plain wooden table. Perched on that table is a pristine blade. The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right.
Take the blade or just go into the basement?
Oh, come on. Oh,
You're coming in really,
Yeah.
really quietly.
just.
You okay? Everything well?
Blade, and I feel like you're not hearing me.
Okay, take the blade.
You take the blade
Yeah.
from the table.
I don't know
It'd
why
be
this
rather
is coming in this
difficult to
slow.
slay the princess and save the world without it. The door to the basement creaks open, revealing a staircase faintly illuminated by an unseen light in the room below. This is an oppressive place. The air feels heavy and damp, a hint of rot filtering from the ancient wood. If the princess really lives here, slaying her is probably doing her a favor. Her voice carries up the stairs.
Who's there?
She sounds dangerous.
It's almost as if she's the one in charge down here.
Don't let it fool you. It's all part of the manipulation.
Do you want to talk to the princess or just continue? I see a partial response and then nothing.
Like,
You're like coming in muted on occasion, and then you like
all
pop
right,
up. There you
because
go.
yeah, it just. I'm gonna try it this way, just yelling at the iPad, because I'm trying it the headphones, and it keeps just not getting me. So just checking in on you is what I tried to say.
Yeah, now you're coming in a lot clearer.
Yeah, because I'm yelling at the iPad. I took my headphones out. I don't know what's going on over there.
So are we talking or are we continuing?
Just checking in on you.
Oh, it's been so long since anyone's come down here. I was starting to think they'd forgotten about me.
You walk down the stairs and lock eyes with the princess. There's a heavy chain around her wrist, binding her to the far wall of the basement.
She's so coldly beautiful. Is she really a threat to the world?
Focus on the task at hand.
And there you are. Are you here to kill me or something?
What? No way. Why would you even think that?
Just the Mark Wahlberg. What?
Yeah.
The giant
No.
knife you're holding kind of gives it away, doesn't it?
The blade. Of course she doesn't want to talk. Who'd want to have a conversation at knife point? We should drop it.
Don't you dare. It's fine. We can decide what we want to do after we talk to her. Maybe she really is a monster, but killing someone in cold blood isn't very becoming of us.
Drop it.
The blade tumbles out of your trembling hands and drops to the floor with an unceremonious clang.
Thank you. Maybe now we can just talk.
Against your better judgment, you step forward to speak with the princess face to face, unarmed.
We'll be fine.
I don't know what you're hoping to accomplish here, but I can assure you there's no reasoning with her. Just make sure you don't forget about the blade on the floor. You're going to need it.
So here we are. What an awkward start to a relationship.
Do you know why I'm here to kill you?
Do you?
I know what I've been told.
So you're not going to share? How pointless. If you want to talk, I'll talk. But this isn't talking.
Now kind of at the top of the dialogue tree here.
That's kind of ridiculous. It just kind of loops back.
In this case, it loops back, yeah.
All right, what's your name?
She hesitates before answering.
You can address me as your Royal Highness, or Her Majesty. Any honorific should do, really.
Note the lack of detail. You can't trust her.
Yeah. All right, what's the option to leave?
Oh, have you decided what to do with me?
You know why you're here.
What is the option? Just leave? All right, I'm getting you out of here.
Oh, you have to be kidding me. You walk up to the chains binding the princess to the wall and give them a tug. They're large and heavy, far too solid for you to even imagine trying to break them apart.
I'm guessing you don't have the key.
Maybe it's somewhere upstairs. Doubtful. Whoever locked the princess away down here intended for her to never see the light of day. They wouldn't have just left the key to her chains somewhere in the cabin.
Alright.
I'm going to check
Alright, well, I'm going to
upstairs.
pick up. I'm pressing the
I'll
elevator.
be here.
You attempt to make your way out of the basement, but the door at the top of the stairs slams shut. You hear the click of a lock sliding into place. Is someone else here?
Yeah. Try the door.
You try the door, but it's locked from the outside. You're here to slay the princess, and you won't leave until the task is done.
See, now I don't trust him. Hey, let me out of here.
Your shouts and pleas are met with silence.
Get a horse shit.
I'll repeat myself once again. You're here to slay the princess, and you
I'm
won't
not
leave
listening to
until
you.
the task is done.
Fine, return to the
You make your
friggin'
way
ladder.
back to the bottom of the stairs. This would have been so much easier if you'd simply slain her like you were supposed to. Easier for whom? Easier for everyone.
Who's everyone?
I heard the door slam. They locked you down here too, didn't they? The knife. Pick it up and cut me out of here.
Yeah, I'll do that.
You won't like what happens if you do that.
Yeah. Save the princess.
Against your better judgment, you place the blade against the princess's arm, just above the massive, unyielding chain. You cut into her flesh.
Prince.
The blade is sharp, and you make quick work
Ah.
of it. Before long, you're able to crack through bone, and she
I could've
pulls
just
the
broke her
bleeding
thumbs or
stub of her
something.
arm through the iron gauntlet. She didn't so much as utter a sound.
Gross. Alright, now I'm
From her
freaked out.
bindings, the princess turns to face you, her fierce gaze meeting your eye. How
I
is she
helped
so
you.
composed after losing an arm? It's like she isn't even bothered by it.
Thank you. Now let's get out of here.
Alright, approach the
No,
door.
we won't have any of that. The stakes are too high. You can't just
Well, I
let
know
her
you'll just kill
escape
both
into
of
the
us.
world. No. As the princess approaches the bottom stair, your body steps forward and raises the blade. Wait, this isn't fair. You can't just do that. Watch
Yeah,
me.
not. Wow, you really warned her.
Stop that.
I thought this was a little too easy.
Your body lunges forward to sink the blade into her back, but the
Why are you
princess
making
swiftly
me
moves
do
out of the
this?
way before you can connect.
Like, these are not my
Stop
choices.
resisting me. I am trying to get you out of here alive.
Yeah, I don't trust that fucking narrator. I don't trust that guy. Resist.
The blade. Move the blade.
You're doing your best to help me, aren't you? I can see the conflict in your eyes. I'll make this quick.
She steps forward and pries the blade from your rigid hands.
Do I have claws?
Maybe I'll see you in another life.
And then she slits your throat with an almost clinical ease.
Yeah, well.
Her face remains unchanged as she watches you collapse to the ground, blood flowing from your butchered neck. This is the end, isn't it? I'm afraid it is. Everything goes dark, and you die. I hope it was worth it.
Totes. And there's still a second chapter, so I might be right.
You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And in
Wait,
the
did you just start
basement
me
of
over?
that cabin
Nope, this is the second
is a
chapter.
princess. You're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world.
I'm getting a... Wait. No, wait. But I died. What am I doing here?
I can assure you that you're not dead. And to answer your second question, you're here to slay the princess. I literally told you that a second ago. Don't forget what he did to us the last time around. I wouldn't trust a word out of his mouth. There's got to be a
Yep.
way out of here.
For us and for the princess. We just have to keep trying. I'm inclined to agree. If he doesn't remember what happened last time, maybe it's best to keep it that way. You know I can hear you two, right? It's going to be a lot harder than you think to keep secrets from me.
Turn around and leave. Or that
I'm
shut
not
the
so
game
sure
off.
running away is the best idea. We're not the only person stuck here. What about her?
Seriously? You're just going to turn around and leave? Do you even know where you're going?
Or I'm not. Nope.
Fine. I suppose you just quietly continue down the path away from the cabin.
Yes.
That's strange. It looks like this path also leads to the cabin. How convenient. Everything's back on track again. Maybe the world
I
can
hate you.
still be saved after all.
Okay. Turn around again, leave again.
Really keen on wasting everyone's time, aren't you? It's remarkably selfish, if you ask me. I've already outlined the stakes of the situation. If you don't do your job, everyone dies. Like, dies. Forever.
Well, like I died.
But fine, you turn around and trek back down the path you came.
Wait, something isn't right. Can you still hear me? You're supposed to wind up back at the cabin again. But everything is getting fuzzy. What's going on? Where are we? Did
Someone's
we
hair?
do this? Is this the end of the world? Was there ever even a world to end?
This.
Feelers. That's why I'm just going to refer to my hands now.
Here, grab my feelers. Oh, that's annoying. That's a tough choice. I have Torrent here. Alright, fine. This is a nightmare. Wake up. Are you serious?
Yep, you do
You're
start.
on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And
That
in
is
the
not
basement
fun.
of that cabin is a prince. You're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world.
Do you want to do one more run?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a bullshit ending. Killing a princess seems kind of bad, doesn't it? Or can someone else do this?
Are you a monarchist? Is slaying a princess that much worse than slaying a fisherman or a miller or a seamstress? If anything, slaying a princess is much better than slaying a seamstress. Seamstresses contribute something of value to society.
I can just not say anybody. Is there an option for that? Can I just not say anybody? You psychopath? Why'd you bring up other people to slay? What's the matter with you? Okay, thanks for telling me what to do, I guess.
Don't mention it. It's all part of the job. You make your way up the short path to the cabin. You'll find the princess within. A warning before you go any further. She will lie, she will cheat, and she will do everything in her power to stop you from slaying her. Don't believe a word she says.
We're not going to go through with this, right? She's a princess. We're supposed to save princesses, not slay them.
Ignore him. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
As
The interior
cabin
of the
slightly
cabin is almost
squiggles.
entirely bare. The air is stale and musty, and the floor and walls are painted in a fine layer of dust. The only furniture of note is a plain wooden table. Perched on that table is a pristine blade. The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right.
Enter the basement.
The door to the basement
that over
creaks
there.
open, revealing a staircase faintly illuminated by an unseen light in the room below. This is an oppressive place. The air feels heavy and damp, a hint of rot filtering from the ancient wood. If the princess really lives here, slaying her is probably doing her a favor. Her voice softly carries up the stairs.
Hello? Is someone there?
It's hypnotizing. It's the kind of voice you only have to hear once to remember it for the rest of your life.
Don't let it fool you. It's all part of the manipulation. You're playing a dangerous game by coming here unarmed.
Hmm. Oh, just checking in on you.
You are? It's been so long since anyone's come down here. I was starting to think they'd forgotten about me.
You walk down the stairs and lock eyes with the princess. There's a heavy chain around her wrist, binding her to the far wall of the basement.
She's beautiful. How could someone like this be a threat to anyone?
I am begging you to stay focused. There's a lot riding on you here.
Hi. Do you think you can get me out of these chains?
See what I can do.
You're only making this more difficult.
Thank you.
Well, clearly I'm immortal, so like,
You're making a huge mistake.
Just stuck in a time loop.
You're doing the right thing.
yep, doesn't matter what I do.
You walk up to the chains binding the princess to the wall and give them a tug. They're large and heavy, far too solid for you to even imagine trying to break them apart.
I'm guessing you don't have the key?
Maybe it's somewhere upstairs.
Doubtful. Whoever locked the princess away down here intended for her to never see the light of day. They wouldn't have just left the key to her chains somewhere in the cabin.
Mm. And if there isn't a key, do you have any ideas?
Maybe there's some way to break the chains? Or if that doesn't work, I guess we can always cut me out of them.
She offers the suggestion with almost complete nonchalance.
If we were stuck down here long enough, I'm sure we'd be nonchalant about cutting our way out if it meant we could finally be free.
You attempt to make your way out of the basement, but the door at the top of the stairs slams shut. You hear
Probably
the
the
click of
narrator.
a lock sliding into place.
Is someone else here?
Hey, let me out of here.
Your shouts and plea. I'll repeat myself once again. You're here to slay the princess, and you won't leave until the task is done. You make
Okay.
your way to the bottom of the stairs. This would have been so much easier if you'd just taken the blade like you were supposed to.
Easier for whom?
Easier for everyone. Look at the mess you're in.
I heard the door slam. They locked you down here too, didn't they?
There's a slight panic rising in the princess's voice.
If I could just get out of these chains, I know we could force our way out of here together.
She barely hesitates before raising
Oh,
her arm
she's
to her
gonna go
mouth,
for it.
her teeth tearing through her limb with the determination of a trapped wolf. As she rips her flesh from her bone, a sound comes from behind you, the clang of bouncing metal. It's the blade from upstairs. You're not sure how it made its way down here, but if there's a time to strike, it's now.
Or we could use it to free her.
You won't like what happens if you do that.
Yeah, she's turning her arm, Slayer. I didn't see that
Without
coming.
hesitation, you bring the blade down and plunge it into the princess's back. Finally, the wound drives her to the ground.
Okay. There's no going back now. I'm with you to the end.
Thanks, buddy.
You bastard. Were you lying to me this whole time?
The princess pushes away from you, the motion ripping the blade from her back. Wounded, but still alive, she crouches on all fours in the corner of the room and meets your eyes with the ferocity of a cornered predator.
You've made a terrible enemy, and there's nothing in the world that can possibly save you from me.
I thought we had the upper hand, but it's as if she's barely even threatened by us. It's an act. She's wounded and unarmed. There's nothing she can do to hurt you. I'm not so sure. Don't waver now. As you ready your blade to deliver a lethal blow, she lunges at your legs with the same animal ferocity she used to tear at her arm. Your blade cuts into her again and again as you're tackled to the ground, your body racked with pain as she rips into you with tooth and claw. Forget about trying to rescue her. This is about survival now. Give her everything you've got. Though your nerves are seizing with pain, you know you've done your fair share of damage as well, your blade having left deep gashes in the princess's back. You seize a moment of hesitation to throw her off of you and shakily push yourself back to your knees. We can still turn this around.
Finish the job. She's gnawing on her arm.
You steel your resolve and take another step closer to the princess. You probably won't make it out of here alive, but you can still make sure that she won't make it out of here either. Excuse me? What's this about not making it out of here alive? Do you
Yeah,
think
I'm
this is
surprised
what
by
I
that too.
wanted to happen? I have a duty to state the facts of the situation, and honestly, it's a miracle anyone in this room is still standing right now. Don't act so surprised. Can you not feel all those gashes and holes pulling you apart? If the princess doesn't do you in here, blood loss is certain to finish the job. You take another step forward, and the princess lunges towards you. The two of you enter one last exchange, a flurry of blade and claw and fleshy ribbons, and then you stop. Neither you nor princess able to go any further. You collapse on the ground, and the princess collapses beside you. Blood pools around you both, and you watch each other fade away.
After all this time alone, I thought I'd finally found a friend, but you were just another monster, weren't you?
Silence as the room starts to get fuzzy around you. You've paid a terrible price, but you've saved us all. It's over.
If you think this is it, you're sorely mistaken. One way or another, I'll make sure you pay for this.
Well, we're
But you
both
don't
dead,
have
so.
time to worry over such things. Everything goes dark, and you die.
How is there still a chapter 2?
You're on a path in the
Son of a-
woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin.
When it goes
And
back
in
to
the
chapter
basement of
1,
that
you're at the
cabin
beginning of the loop,
Is a
so
princess.
generally the first
You're here
the
to
first
slay her.
solution is just building
If you
into the next
don't,
one.
It will be the end of the world.
What was the one you wanted me to choose before? It was the But I Died, right?
Yeah.
I can assure you that you're not dead. And to answer your second question, you're here to slay them. If he doesn't remember what happened, then maybe it's best to keep. Brilliant. We need to keep our cards close to our chest, and I'm not sure we can trust
Edge.
him. You know I can hear you, right? It's going to be a lot harder than you think to keep secrets from me. Did I say I'm not sure we can trust him? Slip of the tongue, bit of the old brain fog. I meant to say that we should probably head over to the cabin and slay that princess. We already know we can't trust her, so let's get on with the show.
I have an opportunity now, great.
A warning before you go any further. She will lie, she will cheat, and she will do everything in her power to stop you from slaying her. Don't worry. You can trust us to get the job done.
In my first playthrough, I'm like, okay, let's just
The interior
let's just
of the
do
cabin
what
is a
the
mess
what
of
the game
twisted
wants me
roots.
to.
The walls a chaotic weave of knotted
So I
wood
just
that,
picked up the blade
almost
and
as if
stabbed
by
her, and her
accident,
reaction was,
just
"Oh,"
happens
and
to
then she just
resemble a room.
died.
The floor is damp and earthy, and the only furniture of note is a slab of mud in the shape of a shelf. with a pristine blade perched on its edge. The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right.
You didn't say anything about the mirror on the wall.
That's because there isn't a mirror. There's the muddy shelf, the blade sitting on the muddy shelf, and the door to the basement. There's nothing else in here. There's definitely a mirror.
Okay.
But he says there isn't one. That's got to count for something, right?
I trust my eyes. Why would he lie?
Come on now. He's pretty much in charge here. When have authority figures ever lied about anything? If there were a mirror in this cabin and we were supposed to look at it, he would have told us about it. Exactly.
We're looking in that
Why
mirror.
would I lie about something so meaningless? What good would a mirror even do? That you waste time preening yourself instead of doing what needs to be done.
I approached the
Walk
mirror.
up to the wall next to the basement door. It's a wall. There isn't much to see here. This really isn't funny.
Wipe the mirror clean.
Reach
We
forward
gotta.
and rub your hand against the cabin wall. I hope you know how ridiculous you look right now. Well, at least we can all agree now that there's nothing to see here. Case closed. Good work, everyone.
Grab the
Guess
blade.
I'm taking
of
that
this-
Take the
Going
blade
with the
from the
spooky
shelf.
cabin.
It would be difficult
Yeah.
to slay the princess and save the world without a weapon. Well, if we're grabbing a weapon, we should probably keep it hidden behind our backs.
Like,
You
shit's
don't
getting
have to
weird.
know
We're
we
stabbing her.
haven't. That's not actually a bad idea. The door to the basement creaks open, revealing a staircase dug into the muddy earth below. The ceiling is thick with roots that hang like locks of tangled hair. The weak starlight from the cabin windows behind you can barely penetrate the gloom here, only illuminating the edges of an opening below. It shines in the darkness like some kind of massive maw waiting to swallow you up into the earth. The air smells of dirt and copper. It's thick and wet, as if your lungs are being coated in mud with each intake of breath. If the princess lives here, slaying her would probably be doing her a favor. Her voice skitters up from below.
Something nasty finds itself on my stairs. Come on down. Don't be scared. I probably won't bite.
You know, she's weird. I'm not nasty.
But you are. You're a wretched little thing. I recognize that voice as easily as I recognized your nervous little footsteps coming up the path. I know who you are, and I remember what you've done.
She must have you confused with someone else. She seems friendly enough. Maybe we can talk our way out of this whole situation. You can't. Unless you slay her right away, she's going to break free and end the world. There's no reasoning with what she is. Look, I'm just throwing ideas out there. I like to think out loud. I'm the kind of guy who likes a discussion. Don't we want to hear what everyone has to say before making any big decisions? Do you want to hear what
Agreed.
everyone has to say? Or do you just want to hear yourself talk? You need to stop lingering. Your task is to slay the princess, not endlessly debate about what to do with the princess. Fine, fine. You're the boss. Thank you. You descend the basement steps, entering the dark room below. You can just make out the shape of the princess in the gloom. She's huddled against the far wall, her eyes bright and glaring from amid the thick roots.
And there you are. One hand tucked away behind your back, gripping that sharp, sharp blade, no doubt.
That's no fair. How would she know that?
So, we've dropped the pretenses. Good.
You made a comment back in the woods about having been here before. Now she's acting like the two of you already know each other. Oh, no. You've already been here, haven't you?
I had to
Pretty
tell
sharp.
you.
How'd you figure that one out? Call it deductive reasoning. Well, you seem to be great at it. So, you really don't remember us, do you? No, I don't. But you and the princess clearly have a shared reality, even if I'm not a part of it. I won't waste time fighting you on something that's clearly true. I'm just glad we could put all this behind us. Is it all behind us? Just focus on the task at hand. I don't care if you've been here before, and I don't care if you think you'll go somewhere else after this. My world is on the line right now, so I'd appreciate it if you would take this seriously and slay her. Let's chat her up a bit first. Maybe we can find a middle ground where everyone's happy. Don't talk to her. You're just going to make things more difficult than they have to be.
Well, I seem to remember you having a tongue.
This, God, there's so many options.
Yep. And I haven't done this route before, so I can't tell you anything.
Okay, read the bottom one. These are like paragraphs. Yeah, that's the one. That's the last one.
Without uttering a word, you
there's
charge
a
the
paragraph.
princess. So much for finding.
You
an
said the
easy
last
way
one.
out.
That was the
I
last
can't
option.
believe you're
I didn't
making us
see it.
work for it.
Better a violent fool than a plotting coward. Better for me, at least.
As you close the distance, readying your strike,
Seriously?
Princess's chain falls from her wrist. She takes advantage of your split second of surprise and throws a fistful of dirt into your eyes.
What's the point of the
Should've gone
chain?
there those the whole time. That's sneaky.
Seriously?
Bill. A woman after my own heart, really. It's a shame we're playing opposite teams. This is why you couldn't just abandon her here. Left to her own devices, she would always find a way out. Now stop her.
Narrator, you're the
If I'd
worst.
known I would be ready for you. Deep in your heart, you know the same things about me I know about you. We're both so very awful.
As you brush the silt from your eyes, the princess tackles you, flattening you against the dirt floor.
We were always going to kill each other here, weren't we? I can't trust you, and you can't trust me, and those doubts spin and spin and spin into hate.
She buries her teeth deep into your chest, tearing at. Great, she's
Right.
distracted. Stab her in the back. In for a penny, right? Why not?
Right? You're here.
As the princess rips meat from bone, you plunge your weapon into her unprotected back.
Ha, you bastard! Even face to face, you find a way to stab me in the back. I know you, and you're hideous, absolutely wretched. Just like
Right now, choke her and spit in her mouth.
We are the same. So throw her off us, kick her in the shins. We don't have to fight.
Or
so
that, whatever.
dirty.
Don't listen to
Of
me.
course we do. Fighting clean won't help us win. It takes a wretch to know a wretch, and we're all at the bottom of the barrel here. There's no point in pretending otherwise. Are we? At the bottom of the barrel. We've got dirt in our eyes and a chunk of us chewed out. If that's not the bottom of the barrel, what is? No arguments here. You're doing great. Keep playing dirty if that's what it takes. But if we win, we won't be at the bottom anymore. We'll have climbed a little higher. And once we start climbing, well, who knows where we'll stop? You'll stop right here if you keep daydreaming. Don't let yourself
You're an
get
opportunist or an
distracted thinking
optimist?
about what comes after. None of us ever said we stopped fighting. What a low
Yeah.
and vicious fight it is. Eyes gouged, skin scratched bloody, hair ripped and nails broken. Every rule
It happens
there
in
ever
every
was in the book
reality.
of honorable combat. Both you and the
This does
princess
not
have
happen in
broken
every
a dozen
reality.
times over.
In my one where
That's nice.
where I just walked
Are
up
we
and
winning?
stabbed her, the chapter 2 she was a ghost.
Nobody's winning. I thought playing dirty was supposed to give you the upper hand, but I suppose that doesn't work if you both sink to the same lows. Still, at least you're not losing.
And then there was a whole thing,
Tackles
it's like,
maniacally
oh,
as
to
the battle continues.
if you want to make
Behind her
amends,
tackle,
then I'll need to
you hear the
possess
low
you.
groan of warping wood.
See, I like this.
What's going on? We're establishing a newer,
It's a choose your own
better
adventure game. Forget navel gazing. This is choose your own adventure.
No, the groaning thing. Why is the wood making noise? Who cares about the groan? It's just a sound. Things make sounds all the time. I care about the groan. Doesn't that mean something bad is happening? Oh, yes, well, I'm afraid that's the sound of the basement getting smaller.
Do you hear that, you
Okay.
pathetic wretch? Those are the roots of the wild, and they're coming to choke the breath from your lungs and squeeze the life out of you.
Narrator gave me no warning.
You and the princess disengage for a brief moment, just long enough to get your bearings. Behind you, the basement door has been sealed over, thick roots barring your only exit from the dirt pit. And slowly, but very perceptibly, the roots are closing in on you both.
Never trust Cat Princess.
That's right. They're coming for you. And they won't stop until there's nothing left down here but them.
It'll crush us both.
So this one.
Yeah, I think it's the first one.
As long as you suffer while you die, I'll gladly suffer with you. Especially if I get to see it happen.
This doesn't help anyone. I can't believe she'd kill us both just to spite me. See? This is exactly why you've been tasked to slay her. She's an antisocial monster who'll gladly burn the whole world for her satisfaction.
You gotta give me more information than that, man.
We know. We can see them.
I mean, why though? Why are you doing this?
Because it's in my nature. Just like you coming down here to kill me is in yours. It's who I am.
And now I know about her.
Extremely not us. We're just doing what we're told and making the best out of a difficult situation. Exactly. You're in the right here. Now focus up and win. You feel something against your back. A thick root pushing its way into the cavern. An unstoppable, unyielding wall of bark. You're running out of time. Shit. What do we do? What do we do?
We die.
Should probably get back to stabbing. The only way out of this is through her, right?
Alright, I can help her get out of here.
This one.
Yeah. Let's see what she says.
Too little, too late. We're both going to die a splintery and miserable death. And you're going to hate it just as much as you hate me and I hate you.
The roots twist around you both, binding your limbs and rendering you helpless. As your fates close in, all you can do is watch her, and all she can do is watch you.
You go get a Kieran.
At first it's almost
Yeah.
gentle.
This sucks.
The two of you
It's fine, I'll
lift
just make you
delicately off
17
the
this.
ground.
I'll be back.
But the cradle of the growing roots soon gives way to tightness, and that tightness gives way to bulging pressure as they begin to constrict.
Knowing I'll be fine gives me hope.
The sound
Yes.
of creaking wood
Still hurts, though.
drowned out by the snaps and pops of your bones, pain flooding your senses as you feel your skin deform, being shaped unnaturally by the living basement. Tears well up in the princess's eyes, her own bones splintering and flesh swelling with trapped blood. But still, she smiles through it all.
I can't wait to do this again. You wretched little thing. I hate you, but I wouldn't have it any other way.
The pressure is
Good to know.
unbearable. You can't breathe, your vision swimming with red, your head pounding as everything tightens. And then you pop. Everything goes dark, and you die.
See you in chapter 3.
We are a path in the woods. We have no beginning, and we have no end. But something cold and unnatural sits watching us from just beyond our edge. His gaze pushes against our borders, curling them in on themselves, preventing them from stretching to the places they need to reach.
No, that's all wrong. You're not a path in the woods, you're on a path in the woods. Who's even saying that? That's not
This is
That's
fun.
not the princess, is it? Oh no. How many times have you been here? I think this is our third? That's bad. That's very, very bad. It wasn't even supposed to reach 2. If you're
Why
at
don't you
3,
tell
well,
me her power set?
no wonder things aren't the way they're supposed to be. Let's get our facts straight. What happened last time? What could you have possibly done for things to be like this?
Why is the cursor a
thing
raven?
that sits beyond our edge speaks his logic into us. He tries to grasp at things
Right.
that cannot be grasped. He tries to stare with wide pupils at that which can only be held from the corner of the eye or with a passing glance.
Shut up.
The rest of you, talk. What happened? What did you do? There's no
The
reason
narrator
to
needs
keep
catching up.
secrets. We tried fighting her, and then she made the cabin itself come to life and squished us into paste.
All that unfairness. What if it was just pushing us in the right direction? Helping us become this? It's almost worth being squished by a cabin.
It was a fitting end. I'm sorry if it hurt, but doesn't this make it all seem so small?
I see. So the cabin ground you into paste, and now you're convinced you're stuck together. What a mess.
He doesn't understand. We aren't convinced of anything, and we aren't stuck together. We're one. This is how we're supposed to be. Can't you feel it?
Okay, down. Okay, you narrator, how do I stop her? Because this guy needs like real
You
info.
can start by remembering that you exist, and not as some part of a Gestalt entity formed with the princess. You exist as your own self, complete with your own physical body, separate from hers. I'm not so
Okay.
sure about that. We were something like that once, but now? And if thinking about that isn't enough to startle you back to reality, consider this. She committed a murder-suicide using a living cabin. Right. That
Right.
was unpleasant. We weren't big fans of that, I think. I'm sure I would have had
I'm not
to
too
do the
crazy about
same
it, no.
thing if we were in her shoes. We really do make a great pair. He's probably just jealous. You need to remember that you and the princess are enemies. Don't let bygones be bygones. Remember what she's done to you and how much it hurt.
She was so excited about it, though.
We can't go back to that. We can't go back to the doubting and the hatred and the schemes. Not after being something as beautiful as this.
Doesn't all that conflict feel so far away right now? So
Yeah.
pretty? We've been posed against each other by something that understands the strength of our unity.
I've been in this
Spoken
relationship
like,
before, you're not gaslighting me.
honestly, a real puppet master. Have we considered that maybe she's the one trying to trick us?
I'm not.
But there's a feeling, isn't there? That petty feeling she mentioned, it is fuzzy, but it's there. Almost like she still hates us.
It feels mutual.
It's mutual.
Please, stop. If you pay attention to that feeling, we'll fall apart.
Don't look at it!
She's trying to turn you away from the truth. There's something she doesn't want you to see. I think you already know you have to look at it.
They're both playing their hands. What's the move? Do we pick a side? Do we figure out how to make everyone unhappy?
Gaze at the hatred in your heart.
Please, don't make us remember how we were.
And just like
What are we
that,
remembering?
you start to fall apart. Right, she really does hate us, and we hate her. It hurts thinking about us as separate things, but we're separate. We can't hate ourselves. I love me.
Honestly, I can't believe I ever thought being crushed to death with a cabin was forgivable. Did she put that thought in our head?
Is she able to change what we think? That's not fair.
I don't want to remember what it felt like to be killed. It was so much nicer when it didn't feel like it mattered.
And yet you keep remembering. You remember the loathing and animosity you've shared with the princess, the pain and the anger and the betrayal. And you start to remember something else, too. You remember that you are a distinct being with a finite form and a mortal body.
This is hitting deeper than I'd like.
There is a shifting of the space around you, the infinitesimal movement of your molecules rearranging back into the shape of what
This is reaching codependent relationship status.
Maybe bygones can't be bygones. I don't know why I ever wanted to share a body with you, of all things. It's like my very soul reeks of yours. That was horrible. This is better. Finally, I'll be able to hurt you like you deserve. I wish I didn't have to.
Don't think bipolar women.
can never truly be mended. A cavernous gash rips across whatever it was you thought you were. A cabin comes into being among the trees. It approaches, and it swallows your body whole. And then you find yourself, blade in hand, exactly where you need to be. At the center of it all is the princess, a wooden and fleshy heart beating with an unbroken rhythm. You're filled with a sense of purpose. Strike at her. End this once and for all.
Kill me then, if you hate me so much. Just get it over with.
Oh my
Well,
god.
this should be easy. If you're sure about it. I mean, what's the point of being king of the hill if there's no one around to be better than? We'd just be sitting on a hill.
This hardly seems fair to anyone. It's an easy win if we want it, but I'm not sure whose win it is.
Do we have to do this?
You have to. You know you have to.
No, slay the princess. Slay the princess. I don't know why I even bothered to read that.
You raise the blade, taking aim at her heart. And then you strike.
I'm sorry.
Hey, now you're sorry. Okay.
She's gone. Where did she go? Should we try and find her? And there's that mirror again. Why is it here? Why now?
The narrator is gone.
He is. Does that mean the world ended? We're top of the pecking order now. Right, boys? Good riddance.
I think I'm supposed to look at the mirror.
There's something dreadful about it. I don't think you should. It's going to do something to us. I can feel it. If they think it's bad, I'm with them.
The first one.
Does this mean we won? You're right. She's gone. It's just us and that awful thing. We just can't win.
I guess we're approaching the mirror.
Don't do this.
Explore the mirror. Yeah. Okay.
Something returns to the long quiet. It has surrendered its path of annihilation and brings me the gift of a fragile vessel.
The second one.
I am solitary lights in an empty city. What are you?
Hey. I don't know what I am.
I think that you are like me. We are oceans, reduced to shallow creeks.
Is this the end of the world?
How can the world have ended if we are talking?
Yeah, I thought it was a silly question.
Now I just feel like an asshole for asking.
What happens now?
Nothing, as we are. But I know that there are worlds beyond us, and that we are meant to reach them. There is no exit, but this vessel is a creature of perception. She can make you forget, if only you believe her to be able to. Bring me more perspectives, so that I may be whole, and perhaps then we will know our freedom.
All right. Yeah, the last paragraph, last big one.
You ask of things that cannot be done. To destroy is merely to reshape, to remold.
You're being semantic.
How can I know? I am flickers in something sprawling and unilluminated.
How many more pieces of you do I have to find?
More than you have found, but less than there are to find. I am infinite. The rest will find their own way home.
And what if I don't let you do this to me?
Then we will be here forever, as we are now. Unfinished, dry, hollow.
Aren't you scared that I will find a way to kill you?
I have not lived. I am not afraid to die.
How much will I forget?
Everything, until we meet again.
Okay, make me forget.
She asks that I tell you to remember her. You won't.
Jesus.
So that's Slay the Princess.
I really like that.
You're on a path.
I really like. I
through
want
the
to see all
woods,
the avenues.
and at the end
I
of
really
that
like that
path
one.
is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin,
That's not navel gazing.
It's a bit navel gazing. Like, it's just about like perception and storytelling and all of this other like weird stuff. It's a good. I will say it's a good Steam Deck game. I have it in generally I'll do a run like before bed or something, but yeah, you get some fun ones. Like the ghost one was really cool because I literally went from going like, okay, I'm just going to go up and stab her, to like, actually I kind of want to make amends to this ghost princess, and she's like, oh, you actually do want to help me. But yeah, I've never gotten that fight one, so that was new. I also got one where like when she bites her arm, if you cut her arm off, it happens in a similar way where like the narrator takes control of you and he makes you try to stab her, and then she kills you effectively.
Yeah.
And that turns it into like she is like a Disney princess who actually has no thoughts of her own. Like all of her responses are just like, I just want to make you happy.
Jeez. All right. The metaphor is real. It is a bit navel gazy for that reason, but there's still a clear task.
Yeah, so
the beginning and end. There's many endings.
So maybe we can return to it. I need to feed Cruz quick, so I'm going to stop the stream here. But we'll come back with Midnight Suns in just a little bit.